Ah, that's it. Just shoot the guy. He'll be really friendly after that. Number 2. This also being the second video of Hunter Month gets me thinking. We all know why most people sympathize with the hunter. The continuous trying to protect humanity from the monsters or sometimes itself. There's one thing that I just remembered. The hunter being the hunted. What about that struggle? I consider that struggle far more interesting than, well, put it this way, the hunter being hunted is number 1. The traditional hunt number 2. And then all the final slasher victims probably be number 3 on the hunter's list. But there are some examples. Ha. Here's a little scare one for you guys. The Pit and the Pendulum. This one, well, it's an interesting watch, guys. Hello. Vincent Price. But why would I call this the hunter being hunted? Quite simple, really. Vincent Price being hunting his victims pretty much like any other slasher would, but he does it on the guise as the hunter, doing the whole God shall punish you and all sorts of that. But at the same time, he himself is being hunted. This case just more the happenstance of his victims on the pretty much the victims on his little pendulum thingy being more along lines of just starting their vigil instead of just, oh, we know this guy is evil, quickly we must go after him. The more famous, yep, you guys can overhear the music. If you want a hunter's being hunted, that is it right there. Pretty much not only revived that trend, but also came up with the ultimate what the fuck scenario, such as very limited resources, isolated in areas such as either open ocean, open desert, or prison planet, I like Alien 3, and everybody not getting along with each other. But you gotta admit, it still speaks volumes that even though you're rooting for the hunters, that they do have a chance of getting killed by the quarry. One being of which, Quentin. Yes. He will be more the wise mentor hunter, while Chief Brody and the biologist will probably be like the new recruits to the vigil. Uh, 80s, 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s, 90s, 80s. Another one. We will avoid the glare here. I know what you're thinking. It's like, Prowler, you're too drunk. I'm not that drunk, but there's reasoning behind this. The daughter, who not only recently starts her hunt against her boyfriend, her mother's evil boyfriend, now hiding in her skin, or his skin, that she herself is being hunted by eldritch beings from beyond the veil. Literally, not figuratively. And pretty much most Lovecraftian stories are like that. The hunters are hunting something supernatural, while greater powers are hunting them, either as new recruits or just snacks. One of my favorite movies of all time. Another one is like, it's a landmark Jaws. Granted, unlike the Jaws film, this actually happened. You can actually go visit the lions at the Chicago Museum. This was being more along the lines of you give the hunters like every best possible advantage there is, and it goes down the drain. Now, recruiter guy not only is famous for taking quite almost impossible odds at the time and succeeding, but you also give them 3 mercenaries who can't fire through metal, which I'm gonna give them a granted, because being locked in a railroad car, the lion and nothing but a jail cell bars between you and it's trying to break down the bars, you're gonna shoot first and aim later. You also bring in a top-notch hunter. And he dies. They find something any better. Comes with his own army. Army leaves. And also, even as the final straw is like they were able to take out one of them, the other one was able to seek revenge. And even with the savannah on fire, that the last chance was more of a very lucky shot. And even with what I'm reading right now, technically, it will be a lot more along the lines of hunters recently becoming the vigil. But here's the thing: this pretty much goes along the lines of the hunters being hunted by more powerful beings. I'm not talking about the werewolves that appear in the book, but the wolf goddess herself. That in the book, at a certain time of year, that the people of the land must give tribute to the werewolf god, or else suffer divine wrath. And out of this guy's find intelligence saying like, "Oh, those are ancient legends. We don't need to do this anymore. There are not even wolves within 100 miles. Look who's laughing now." It's also kind of a shame that nobody else is acknowledging that it's Hunter Month. I know it's Will Smith month, but that was last month. Or technically it should have been last month because they said half month. But 'tis a shame that a star gets ones up the very protection that the mortals have. Next week, Cubs. Next week will technically be a double feature. The first being America's favorite president and vampire hunter. The other being the Vienna legend of old. About this red-headed Black Fury and her Goral friend. From me, Prowler-at-Darkest-Moon to you. Nighty night, Cubs.